Hey guys, this is Blue, or that one, Blue Guy, and I'm finally here to deliver this video. I know I'm 2 days late, but it was just because I didn't have many hot takes at the time. But before I start this, I would like to thank my friend Triple for advertising this video to his subscribers, so that way some of his subscribers can come and leave their hot takes in my comments section. So thanks to everyone who left their hot takes, and Triple for leaving anything you might have helped with in making this video. But enough said, let's get to reviewing. Your local gamer 07 says, I never really minded going against PCX, not gonna lie. Despite how many people used him, it was still fun. Yeah, honestly, sometimes it was fun to go against PCX, however, like, most of the time, in his more current states, he was just not really that fun. I think the only reason he was just unfun is because of how unbalanced his abilities were. And plus, while Local Gamer did mention another hot take about the recode, I have obviously said that I am not going to do those. So, yeah, that's basically it. I'm just saying, like, PCX is just a little bit unfun to go against. So, Galactic Sonic says, hot take, PCX was the best monster before his removal. Honestly, I don't know what to say about this, because honestly, PCX was a decent monster, but not the best. Because honestly, his moveset was not fun to play as or go against. However, he did have some banger skins. However, I'm just not too sure. I'm just not too sure. Wall 4 Slopes I7D, I don't know, says, my hot take, Inkfell is the most painful monster to play as because he is very slow, Devil Dive feels clunky, his animation is so stranger. This is how I feels about Inkfell. So honestly, I think the rework just made him weird, because like, honestly, yeah, Devil Dive is like really unneeded. I think they should just replace that with a new ability. Because let's be real, nobody uses Devil Dive unless they're like very far behind. But still, they're gonna be like way across the country, so it doesn't even matter. And plus, the animations that he now has are just so weird, man. Honestly, I kinda agree with the animations is so Stranger Thing. Honestly, they should have kept the old animations, because they were much better. And I understand like the remodel and stuff, but like, come on, man. I think the old animations were a lot better. So yeah. Strike? I don't know what that says, I hope I hit that right. Before the whole copyright issue, PCX or EXE should have been replaced with a different Sonic character like Tailstall. I honestly find that with the two characters from the same franchise limit, they should have characters that aren't similar in design or, well, the same species. Now, honestly, I don't know what to think about this, because, you know, we already have another one coming on the way where it is the same thing as what they're saying, which is Hottakes and Suitmations, which are both Godzillas. So I don't know why this would be that much of an issue when no one's complaining about that. So honestly, I just don't think it's that much of an issue if PCX or EXE would not be replaced, because like, who's gonna care? Plus, most people like EXE and PCX, so I wouldn't like see this as like a bad thing in any way. Femcat Boff, I hope I said that right, says, MX is a balanced monster because he is very easy to avoid. Like with Charging Demise, you can go through him and just jump with Pow Hop. He has a lot of end lag, and what makes him good is his damage. He's easy to avoid, but not to escape. Honestly, yeah, he is pretty balanced. Because, like, everything they just said is pretty reasonable. However, good MX players will probably just, like, only do the slight jump where you can still move around. And with Charging Demise, you can, like, turn so MX could, like, slam himself into a wall so that way he can go back to you faster. But honestly, I think if he was more balanced, like his Charging Demise not being able to turn as much, or with Pow Hop only being limited to a certain amount of jump power, or just not being able to turn like he doesn't even be able to use to. I don't even know. But point is, I think MX is still pretty balanced, like this person said, but I think he just needs a bit more balancing. The Chunker said PCX was one of the few things that almost killed the game. Now, honestly, I don't really agree with this hot take, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people came out to Pillagers just to play as PCX or Sonic.exe. And plus, trust me, I know how much people liked Jeff's release. I think that was like the highest player count in all of Pillagers 2. Well, at least I think so. I'm not too sure, because there's no evidence to back it up. However, I just don't think PCX was one of the things that killed the game. Honestly, I think that was just the removal of the disaster from Roblox. And I think the only reason people really hated PCX was the moveset, like I've said before. So, yeah. I think it was just his moveset that needed to be reworked in order for PCX to like not kill the game. Lucky Limes says, if Blade Ninja isn't updating the pre-code, why doesn't he just buff monsters like Uncle Samsonite or any type of monsters that struggle against competitive players? Now they said competitive, but I think they meant to say competent, so I hope that's what you meant, Lucky. But honestly, yeah, I think they should like do more balance updates. I mean, they did one before the Halloween update, but I think they should just do more. Especially with the work they're doing on the recode, it's just like way too much for them, man. I think they should like at least balance the act between updating the recode and updating the precode. Cause like most of the precode is like still very unbalanced, and while yes, the recode is nowhere near balanced either, I still think the precode could at least use a little more balancing. Now, don't take what I just said into like your head or anything. I'm not saying like recode is super unbalanced. I'm just saying it's a little unbalanced with the monsters. They just feel a little too weak. But anyways, let's move on. A recognized one says, the game feels like a skin fest and he plays your favorite spooky character game. And they did say a recode hot take where in MX is incredibly easy to counter and loop and he's just pub stomper. However, again, I'm not talking about that. Now, yes, it could feel like a skin fest, however, I think the better question is like what skins like aren't in the game. Because like there's a lot of unique skins, however, none of them really stand out like the more expensive ones. Like most MX players I've probably seen have only played Mr. Virtual. Or sometimes BX. But the thing is, I've never seen an MX player use any other skins besides the rank skins. I think the only reason this isn't a skin fest is because the other skins aren't being used as much. Like 90% of the time, I'd probably go up against the EXE. He's either using Rabid or 2017X. That's literally the only two skins I ever see with EXE. I'm not even kidding. However, play as your favorite spooky character game is pretty understandable. I mean, there's a lot of spooky characters in the game that are very recognizable, like EXE, MX, Forest King, stuff like that. So yeah, I think I can agree with that. Prol Hero 3285, I hope I said that right, says, hot take for the precode or current PC2, monsters like Wisp, for example, desperately need buffs, a rework to deal with looping, instead of leaving it in the state where the second they get one slightly sweaty player, they lose the game completely. Now I know Lucky already said something about this, however, it is kind of different, because like they're saying they could lose the game completely, and they also mentioned looping, which honestly, yeah, is kind of a big problem with monsters like Wisp, Uncle Samsonite, GF, and I think sometimes even like MX and EXE and stuff. Now, yes, I very much agree with this again. Like, I think these monsters desperately need buffs and reworks. But honestly, yeah, that's kind of fair. HatDude363 says, very little people play AO1 on current game. He's pretty underrated. I 100% agree. Like, listen, AO1 might not seem strong, but he is strong if you know how to use him. Like, trust me, I literally grinded AO1 to get him to gold. And he has been, like, the most fun gold I've ever experienced. And I'm not even kidding. Now, while I did enjoy Fogborn and Vapor's grind to get to gold, I did enjoy AO1's better. Mainly because he's a monster I actually wanted to play and enjoy, because his moveset just seemed very interesting. Now, while I haven't tried him that much in the Recode yet, I still hope it is at least good. That's all I want, because this guy is amazing. Triple, my friend, says, if you use Inkfill, you're trash. Okay, how do I say this? Not every Inkfill player is trash. I mean, hell, Inkfill is decent good, at least a decent good with some maps. And while, again, I said, like, Inkfill is, like, pretty bad of a monster due to his Devil's Dive and reworked animations, it doesn't affect his gameplay that much if you're not using Devil's Dive or just ignore the animations. But, like, I see most Inkfill players lifing lobbies pretty often. I'm not really, like, agreeing with this that much. Well, don't get me wrong, Inkfill is pretty dreadful to play as. I still find it interesting that some people dedicate their time to this very boring snooze fest. Goji Mations 2024 says Hottakes is better than most monsters. Hottakes is only good because he's fun to play as, but he is not fun to go against. Trust me, I know what it feels like. And trust me, my friend has already made a video speaking about the unforgivable acts of this fucking creature. I hope he gets reworked in the Recode. Cannon says, MX isn't overpowered, you just suck at the game. Wow, that sounds like me. Okay, anyways. Honestly, MX isn't just overpowered. I think it's just that, like, people don't really still know how to go up against him, because he's kind of hard to escape. Now, while, yes, you can avoid him, it's not gonna, like, save your life. You're good at avoiding him, you're just extending the possible inevitable, though. I don't really think, like, MX is just that good of a monster, but again, he's not that bad either, so, yeah. Alright, this is the last hot take, because I'm getting kind of tired. Grivix, I hope I said that right, says, PCX was fine on release, annoying but fine, enough balance-wise. Every other iteration besides the Jeff update iteration was broken and flawed. Honestly, I don't know what to think about this, because he said that PCX was annoying but fine enough balance-wise, but every other iteration besides the Jeff update iteration was broken and flawed. Honestly, I think I kind of agree with this. I just didn't understand what I'm listening to at first, because, like, PCX was just, like, very, very unfun to play as and to go against. And it's mainly because of how broken his moveset was and how annoying it kind of was. And plus, Grevix did mention another Recode hot take, which I've already mentioned not to put in my comment section, that JO1 is just a generally flawed monster through and through. And now I said I will play AO1 in the Recode soon. More. Oh my god, sorry. I just don't really want to, like, leave him in the dust and at least give him a chance. I just think that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to give monsters much more of a chance before you actually, like, you know, start making assumptions. But yeah. Alright, that's gonna be enough for this video. There was one more hot take, but obviously it was a Recode related hot take, and Canon left also another Recode related hot take. But I've already told you guys, I'm not doing Recode hot takes. I'll eventually do Recode hot takes when more monsters come in, but for right now, please stop leaving Recode hot takes in my comment section. But anyways, thanks to Triple for getting this video much more popularity, and thanks to everyone who left their hot takes in the comment section of my posts. But yeah, I think that's it. Goodbye for now. Also comment, like, and subscribe.